In today's video, you're going to find out all about molecular fragrances, but you might be asking, what are molecular fragrances if you don't know? But basically, molecular perfumes or fragrances are perfumes built around modern aroma molecules, and they create transparency, radiance, diffusion, and a unique skin-like scent. I've been obsessed with molecular fragrances ever since I got my nose on Escentric Molecules Molecule 1, and since then, I've been, on the hunt to find the best molecular fragrances. I don't have a lot in my collection, but as soon as I find one that I enjoy, I end up getting it and speaking about it on the channel. And throughout my channel, I've done various videos on these kind of fragrances, and a big fan of these kind of fragrances. Even though I prefer my fragrances to be huge, big beast mode fragrances, I actually really like these kind of skin-like scent or fragrances. And that's why I'm doing this video for you guys, to find out what they are. But if you are a fan of molecular fragrances, let me know why you like them. If you're not a fan, also let me know why you don't like them. And if you're a fan, let us know what are your favorite molecular fragrances. Maybe give us a ranking of the fragrances. And if you're not a fan, what have you tried and didn't like? Let us know that as well. But today I've got 17 fragrances. I'm going to do my best to teach you guys what the molecular notes are in each of these fragrances. And you might have heard about some of them. Some of you don't like some of these molecular notes, but I'm really curious what you like about them and what you hate about them. So do add some comments, and let's get started with the list. The first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Glossier You. I recently picked this up from Sephora. I've been wanting a bottle of this for the longest time, and now that they also have flankers of this, I figured it was time to pick it up. So it's been a very popular offering. It's a cult favorite, and it's basically a skin scent. So it's created with pink pepper, iris. There's also ambrette and ambrox. Ambrox is basically a different kind of ambroxan. I think they're made by different proprietary houses like Firmenich, Givaudan, IFF, and they call them different things. And this one features a lot of ambrox along with ambrette. Both of them are musks, but ambrette is a natural ingredient, whereas ambrox is synthetic. But they also have that iris in here and the pink pepper. So it's spicy, it's powdery. You also have the ambrette, which is quite musky and powdery itself, and it creates a little slight fruity nuance in there. And then you have all of the ambrox or ambroxan in here as well, which creates a powdery, synthetic recreation of ambergris. But what it smells to me like amber, but kind of a salty amber, because ambergris is from the ocean, from the whale. You also have woody notes in there. You have musky notes, and of course it becomes very ambery with a salty edge. So that's basically what you get with Glossier You. It's a really great scent. The thing that I should warn you guys with these molecular fragrances, you might be anosmic to certain notes and not pick up, the notes. Because when I first experienced Molecule 1, which I'll get to here right after this, I couldn't smell a certain thing. And I get comments all the time on my videos. I can't smell a thing. It smells like alcohol for various fragrances that I might be talking about. If you're fairly new and you don't have a lot of experience with fragrances and the different notes and molecules that they use in fragrances, you might be anosmic to those notes, to those fragrances, I should say. So don't give up on them. Definitely keep trying, because for me it took about 7 tries to start smelling Molecule 1, and I could smell it, and it's really super strong. And since it's a heavy base note, sometimes our noses cannot process those notes. But this Glossier You is so sexy, so super sexy. It's super musky, and I love the iris in here as well. And that ambrette is in here. It's also powdery. It complements the iris. It amplifies the powdery touch. And then that fruity nuance in there with the pepper spice. Fantastic. But again, it's minimalistic. It's molecular. It's a skin scent, and you might not smell a thing, but once your nose palette opens up, it is a fantastic fragrance. Anyway, that is Glossier You, the first fragrance we're talking about today. All right, up next, we're talking about Escentric Molecules Molecule 1. Oh boy, this has got to be one of my all-time favorite molecular fragrances. In fact, before smelling Molecule 1, I didn't know anything about molecular fragrances. This utilizes the note of ISOE Super. It's, for me, it's supposed to be cedar recreation. And to me, it's got a bit of a velvety smoothness. So I feel like it's combo of cedar and sandalwood, because I don't find cedar to be smooth and creamy. So there's definitely creamy quality about the ISOE Super that they're using in Molecule 1. But to me, it's one of the best fragrances out there, and you might not smell a thing. This, I know a lot of people wear them, and I could smell it off of them really, really strong. And off myself, I might go anosmic myself, but back and forth, you can get smells of it. But basically, it's a minimalistic woody fragrance utilizing the ISOE Super, which is a note that's used quite a bit in fragrances. In fact, a lot of fragrances have ISOE Super to replace the usage of real cedar in the base notes. So if you like woods, you like musky fragrances, this is definitely something you should try. In fact, you should have it in your collection, because you can also use it to layer with fragrances. A fragrance that needs depth, maybe perhaps it's a top or heart notes heavy and the base kind of disappears fast. Layer that down as a base note, let it dry off your skin and spritz the other fragrance on top. Or maybe you need to boost up the woods in a fragrance. It's great. It's a fantastic offering. And one of my favorite houses, in fact, Escentric Molecules, is a house that I adore. I really love their fragrances. And again, this is a great, it's a cult fragrance as well. A lot of people love it. In fact, I used to have little fragrance parties, and I used to invite people that were not into fragrances. And 9 out of 10 times they would fall in love with these fragrances because of the minimalistic quality about them, and the fact that they don't really wear fragrances, but they want to wear something, and this kind of a fragrance appeals to them. But a great scent. I love this. Have it in your collection. In fact, they have so many flankers of this recently. Within the last 5 years, they started making flankers, so you can get an iris, patchouli, mandarin, ginger, black tea, gaiac wood, labdanum, and there's a few others that I haven't bought yet that I want to do. And once I do, I will make a big, long video on all the Escentric Molecules fragrances. But you have to have Molecule 1 in your collection. It's an absolute must. All right, next we're going to talk about Juliette Has a Gun's Not a Perfume. So they feature Cetalox in Not a Perfume. And they've also got the Super Dose edition of it as well. And I'll tell you the difference between the two. First, let's talk about Not a Perfume. Same thing with this. In fact, this is a little bit more complicated to smell in comparison to Molecule 1. But there is a smell here, and I absolutely adore the smell. It's musky. It's Cetalox and another version of Ambroxan. But what they've done here with the original Not a Perfume, it's much more minimalistic and a light dosage of it in comparison to the Super Dose edition, which is like super amped up. So that's the difference between the two. And so if you like it very minimalistic, you would go with the original. If you want something super strong, go with the Super Dose. But what does Cetalox smell like? I've already explained what Ambroxan smells like. To me, it's the combination of woods, amber, salty, musky is what you get. It's a recreation of ambergris, which is very expensive, and you can't just kill a whale to get the stuff. The whale regurgitates it, and it goes into the sea and washes up on the shore, and people find it, and that's how they use it. And so it's a recreation of ambergris. But to me, I always mention this, ambergris, Ambroxan, Cetalox, Ambrox, doesn't smell anything alike. It's basically a recreation, and it's caught on. I think it caught on somewhere around 2015 with the launch of Sauvage and Baccarat Rouge 540. Those two fragrances, I think, are what really kickstarted the overusage of Ambroxan and the popularity of Ambroxan or Ambroxan-like fragrances. In this case, it's the Cetalox. But to me, the Not a Perfume is like, I gave a bottle to my sister. She's a nurse because she can't really wear perfume. But literally, you can smell stuff here. But again, if you're not trained, if you're not experienced with a lot of fragrances, you might be completely anosmic to it. But for me, it's there. Now, with the Superdose edition, if you're at all familiar with fragrances like Vanilla Powder, or maybe you're familiar with Thomas Kosmala's number 4 Après l'Amour, it's a bit more like those fragrances. There's a lot of, they just basically intensified the Cetalox in here. And so it acts more woody, dense, spicy, amber, musk, salt combined together. So which would you rather have? The original, which is softer, or maybe you want the more intense, which is, super heavy and dense. Depends. But if you're also using the Not a Perfume original as a layering tool or a primer or a booster, the Not a Perfume Superdose is going to be super strong in smell. So it might be a bit more complicated in comparison to the original Not a Perfume, because there it's minimalistic, it's close to the skin, not a lot of smell. You have to focus on the smell to smell it, but it smells great. I really love it. For me, I find the originals to be super musky and much more closer to the skin compared to the Superdose. So let's move on to the next fragrance. It's Another 13 by Le Labo. It's interesting. This fragrance I was on the hunt for the longest time, but I knew that it was a exclusive fragrance to the boutique in Paris called Colette. It was created for that store. And when that store went out of business, they released it for all Le Labo stores because they knew that they had something here. They had a cult following with this. And so people really loved it. And so what do? They added to the regular collection. But prior to that store closing, they had launched 3 additional Le Labo fragrances for that store, and those just kind of got lost. I think they didn't get released. But this is an amazing scent. But once again, I get complaints about this one from people. I can't smell anything. It's just alcohol. Give it time, literally. And the thing with these fragrances also, it needs body chemistry. It needs your own chemistry. And you can start smelling a lot more when that happens in comparison to the out of the bottle. But still, you still need to give it time. With this one, though, it features notes of ambroxide, jasmine, moss, and musks. So lots of musks. Le Labo uses a lot of musks, but this one also has ambroxide. I'm assuming it's very similar to Ambroxan because this is created by Nathalie Lorson over at Firmenich. And each of these companies or perfume houses, we should say, have their own proprietary ingredients, and they have their own version of Ambroxan. So this is ambroxide, but to me it smells like Ambroxan. It's salty, it's woody, it's spicy, it's amber, and basically it's to recreate the ambergris that is super expensive. But again, this is super synthetic. Ambergris is all naturalistic. But you also have the jasmine here, the moss, and the musks. Very sexy. I have smelled this off of people, and it smells so good. Off of myself, it smells really, really great. It just needs body warmth for that thing to come alive. That's what happens with these fragrances. And so I'm glad that they didn't kill the fragrance with the store closing in Paris, the Colette store. And I'm glad it's here. It's a very, very popular fragrance. In fact, I was putting my notes down and I ended up on Nordstrom. Nordstrom sells Le Labo. And I saw that it said 59 people viewing this right now. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. This has a cult following, huge following. And it makes sense. I I really love it, and very molecular for me. But the way this video is kind of broken down also, as we get later on, we're going to have fragrances that are very molecular with additional ingredients. This one acts very molecular, even though it has the jasmine, the moss. But some of the fragrances that we're going to talk about are a bit more complex, and they're going to feature the molecular notes with other notes as well. But if you are into the idea of skin scents, molecular fragrances, you must have a bottle of Another 13 in your collection. So up next, going to the house of DS and Durga, it's I Don't Know What. One of my all-time favorite fragrances from this house, and it took me a while to get into this. When I first sampled it, it was at the Barney's here in San Francisco. It was in 2019. I think this launched early 2019. It could have been late 2018. I can't remember. But I remember sampling it at Barney's earlier on. And I was like, I can't smell anything. See, I did it myself. I can't smell anything. I gave up on it. And then until I was visiting LA and I, visited Lucky Scent Bar in DTLA, and it was a very warm day, this fragrance was projecting like crazy, even though it's a minimalistic fragrance. In fact, this fragrance is a fragrance enhancer, is what it says. So a fragrance enhancer is basically something that I've been mentioning that you could do with a lot of these fragrances. And so basically you use it to enhance a fragrance that needs a little kick or a boost or something. But this fragrance features bergamot, which is definitely very prominent and obvious here. It has ISOE Super, which we've already discussed. It has vetiver acetate, which is a synthetic recreation of vetiver, I believe. There's civitone, which is a synthetic form of civet, which is, inhumane now to use real civet. There's firstanol, I think is what it's called. And then there's Ambrox Super. So firstanol, I believe, is a musk, a type of musk. I didn't write down what it was, so I can't really tell you about it. But the Ambrox Super, ISOE Super, the vetiver acetate, civitone all together create this very sexy, musky offering, but very minimalistic. But to me, this fragrance shines in the heat. So much happens. Everything comes alive in the heat. And so give it a chance. I gave up on it. I dismissed it. And then I came back to it in a warm summer day, and it was like blooming out of nowhere and just smelling really fantastic. So I consider it one of my all-time favorite molecular fragrances. And in fact, every note in here is pretty much molecular except for the bergamot. So it's all synthetic molecules. Wear it minimalistically on its own. It's great. The heat will make it shine, or use it to prime or enhance other fragrances. As it says a fragrance enhancer right there. Wonderful stuff. The other thing about DS and Durga, they have another fragrance enhancer that is the Leather Eyes, I think it's called. But that's like, I don't even know why that's considered an enhancer, because it's like an actual real fragrance on its own. What would you enhance with it? Like, it's just, I feel like sometimes super strong fragrances are not easy to enhance or prime other fragrances. So anyway, that's my criticism of that fragrance. But let's move on to the next fragrance from the house of What We Do Is Secret. It's Monoscent G. So it no longer comes in this bottle, by the way. I just went to their website checking on this fragrance. The bottle is now silver, and it's weird. I bought these fragrances, this one and another one from the same house, same color. I think it's H. From Lucky Scent, and I did a video. My video happens to be on their website, which I didn't even know was on there. But I am so addicted to this one. I absolutely love it. It's basically a musk. It's Galaxolide. And to me, it smells a little bit naughty, a little bit dirty, but super sexy, very minimalistic, but all synthetic. And to recreate the smell of deer musk, basically, that's what I think it is. The thing is also, Kiehl's Original Musk uses this ingredient for their musk, Original Musk, from what I read someplace. So it's synthetic, but it's authentic smelling. I love that about this. It's minimalistic, super sexy. Wear it personally, or you can also enhance it. Like you can layer this with the original musk if it needs boosting, because I hear people complain about that one, saying it doesn't last. You can use it to layer. You can add it to fragrances like Musk Ravageur, Sadonaso, Filthy Musk. I don't think you need to do anything with it because it's so strong. But anything that needs a musk, you can do that with. But if you like it minimalistic in a skin scent and you like it a little bit dirty, because I think it's a little bit dirty, go for this. It's so good. Really super awesome. That is Monoscent G. Currently, it doesn't come in this bottle, but if you go to their website, you'll see they've embedded my video talking about these on their website on the page for Monoscent G. The other one that is from this house, I believe it's H. That is the ingredient Timber Silk, which is very similar to ISOE Super, but this stuff, hands down, one of the best minimalistic molecular fragrances. I love that. All right, next we're going to the house of Æther. This is Xtraem. We're getting to a bit more complex fragrances now, and I wrote down what some of these ingredients are because I don't know them 100%, but Xtraem has notes of Ambroxan, Hedione, Irotil, Globalide, and Exaltalide. So Hedione is basically jasmine. Ambroxan we've already talked about quite a bit. It features it here. Irotil is orris note with fruity, fresh, herbal, carrot, earthy, woody nuances. So that is here. Globalide, also called Habanalide, this macrocyclic musk has a clean, fresh, powdery, woody scent and is prized for its stability in modern perfumery. And then we've got Exaltalide, a premium macrocyclic musk with a natural sweet skin-like scent, softened by powdery and floral nuances. This stuff is super sexy. I love it. This is a bit more complex. They're using multiple, kind of like, I don't know what, but you can smell it. It smells fantastic. It's super musky. It's woody. It's a bit spicy. Beautiful. You can totally also smell the Ambroxan in here and a little bit of that floral touch with the Hedione. But once again, it's a skin scent. It's close to the skin, not going to be projecting like tomorrow. It's not beast mode. Somebody has to get close to you. But again, the warmth kind of makes these fragrances come alive. Your body heat will make these fragrances come alive. It's a super fantastic offering. Sadly, this brand is not distributed in the States. I highly recommend this. It's almost as good as Another 13 or I don't know what. In fact, I really love the way it smells, but it's not super easy to get this brand here. Xtraem by Æther. Can you see Æther written there? Let me know if you guys are familiar with this. In fact, if you guys want to learn more about the brand, I have a video on this fragrance with 2 other fragrances from the house. They focus on molecular notes and ingredients, so it might be worth it if you guys enjoy these kind of fragrances to go catch that video. But next we're going to the house of Phlur. It's Missing Person. So this one, I'm adding it in the list, but they're not really listing molecular notes. It's also quite complex with all the ingredients that are in here. But I feel like they're calling it skin musks and white musk. I think they're utilizing, ingredients like what I've been talking about or speaking about here so far up to this fragrance. So it's skin musks, bergamot, jasmine, cyclamen. Apparently there's neroli, orange flower here, sandalwood. There's woods, blonde woods, and white musk. But it's very musky. It's skin-like. It's woody. It's lightly floral. And I think I've read and heard people mention how they can't smell anything with this, but there is a smell. It's just not a loud smell. It doesn't project. It's kind of flat, if that makes sense. But you can really, really smell a lot here. It's very woody for sure. It's very musky. And there's light citruses and light floral touches and That's pretty much it. Like, it's a combo of all of those, but super musky for sure. And the skin-like effect is very true with this. And the name, I think, is also very appropriate. Missing Person. Since it's a skin scent, I think the skin is there, but the person is not there is kind of what they're kind of referring to, I think. So let's move on to the next fragrance. It's Jusbox's Cheeky Smile. By the way, do you guys have a bottle of this? If you put it next to a light and you turn off the light, it does glow blue, by the way. Try it and see if it happens. I don't know how long you have to put it, but one time I had it and I turned off the lights in here, was leaving, and it was glowing. So anyway, that's Cheeky Smile only from Jusbox. So this is also a very complex fragrance with a lot of different molecular notes. So we've got ISOE Super, Ambroxanide, Ambroxan, Ambercore, Cashmeran, Æther Xtraem. I did not write down what all of these molecular notes are, but just know it's very synthetic. It kind of has a little bit of a reminder of Not a Perfume Superdose, and also Après l'Amour. It's a lot of like Ambroxan type notes, which basically for me is salty, musky, woody, powdery, ambery, all combined together. And this is a fragrance inspired by acid house music. The brand Jusbox, obviously you guys know, I did a collaboration with them on my fragrance that I did with them, 54, inspired by the Studio 54 nightclub. This one is more about acid house music. And yeah, I think it's a like total appropriate inspiration for that style of music. Very synthetic. You might be smelling some light citruses in here as well, even though they don't mention it. But if you like the idea of taking all these molecular notes, combining it together in one fragrance, I think the Cheeky Smile should be perfect for you. We're getting into a lot more complex territory next with number 4, Après l'Amour from the house of Thomas Kosmala. I also found out, as I was putting my notes down, there's an Elixir de Parfum version of this. How do you guys compare it to the original? I've never owned it. I'm going to have to look for it next. I've heard that it's a less dry. There's a sweet ambery presence in it. This is what I read. I'm not 100% sure, so let me know if you guys are familiar with that. But this to me is, again, I always mention vanilla powder. If you know vanilla powder, remove the vanilla from vanilla powder. Basically, you're left with the skeleton of that fragrance, because the skin, I don't know, I'm just using it as an analogy, but the warmth part, the skin part is removed, and this is just the bones. The dry part here is what you get here with this. But it's super strong, intense, long-lasting overdose of Ambroxan or amber woods notes that kind of emulates the ambergris. So you're getting woods, saltiness, amber, powder, musks all combined together. But it's super molecular, but there's also citruses here, there's spices, and lots of woods in addition to that musky kind of amber woods note that is in here. It's super dry also, very, very dry. That's why once I found out about the Elixir de Parfum version, I wonder how that is compared to this fragrance. If you guys know, let me know, add a comment. But I think this is a very popular offering from the house, probably one of the best sellers from the house. So that's Après l'Amour number 4 by Thomas Kosmala. Up next, we're going to the house of Commodity. It's Paper minus. Paper, this is very minimalistic to me, and they use a lot of ISOE Super along with sandalwood, cedar, and amber. But again, it's utilizing the molecular notes, but actually they're building an actual fragrance with other notes, which is what Escentric Molecules did. They basically created 2 fragrances for each like molecular note. So for molecule 1, you have its equivalent in a more complete fragrance called Escentric one. And basically they've taken the main ingredient and the only ingredient from the molecule fragrance, molecule 1, and they've added ingredients to it to create like a fully finished fragrance utilizing. So basically, I think that's kind of what's going on with a lot of these fragrances. And so here, it's a bit sweet, but lots of woods. And they're not only using ISOE Super, but they've got cedar and sandalwood credited for notes as well. So it's super dry. To me, it acts a bit like Molecule 1, maybe slightly sweeter and a little different texture. But other than that, it's a minimalistic fragrance. The minus fragrances from Commodity are all very personal, more skin scent-like fragrances. And I think definitely a fragrance for highlighting here in this video of molecular fragrances. So that is Commodities Paper Minus. Let's move on to the house of Givenchy. So I have the MMW version, but it's no longer called MMW. It's now called 3 Avenue George V. So this is also a fragrance that grew on me quite a bit. I remember it had a pretty big following for a while. I've kind of stopped talking about this collection because I don't think it's gone anywhere. But to me, they're using a lot of Ambrox here. This is Olivier Cresp who created this. It's very musky, but also peppery, spicy, and creamy. So they're using Palo Santo in here, cedar, vetiver, lots of woods, with the Ambrox note as well, which is what I've been talking a lot about. Ambrox is, ambery, woody, powdery, salty, musky. And you've got, Ambrox in here as well. So it comes off with all of these. But again, it's got a lot going on, but it doesn't act very loud. It's also kind of a skin scent, and it stays close to the skin. But for me, once your body heats up a little bit, this stuff starts shining. So they've taken the Ambrox, like what's in Not a Perfume. In that case, it's called Cetalox, but they're kind of similar ingredients. So they've taken it and added it to a lot of woods, which is what they've done to MMW, which is now called 3 Avenue George V. I don't know, for some reason today, it's been a while since I've used this. It's not as exciting as it used to be. It's also slightly reminding me a little bit of Santal 33. I don't know why. I've never gotten that before. Maybe I've lost interest in this fragrance. What do you guys think? It's still my original bottle. I bought this when it first came out. So it hasn't changed, but it's not exciting me now anymore. All right, let's move on to K Musc K. Once again, complete fragrance utilizing molecular notes. So this has pink pepper, sand lily, orris, cedar, vetiver, and musk and ambrofix, and white musk. It's very minimalistic. It's a skin scent, but once again, it's a complete fragrance by utilizing ambrofix, which is Givaudan's proprietary Ambroxan-like note. But there's a lot going on. It's peppery, spicy. It's a bit floral. It's powdery. But very sexy for sure. There's a creamy element in there as well. Maybe coming from the musks they're using, but definitely not the ambrofix. I don't find Ambroxan or any of those, that kind of note to be super creamy. It's very dry to me. For me, Ambroxan is very, very dry. This does act very dry, but I feel like something is making it creamy. Maybe it's the lily note, the sand lily. What do you guys think? But it's a great scent. I like how it's super musky, powdery, woody, dry, and creamy at the same time. And then the peppery note, the pink pepper note, just kind of cuts through and shines outside of those, accords that I'm experiencing. So that's K Musc K from the house of K, created by Sonia Constant. All right, fragrances are getting more complex now. So we've got Crystal Saffron. I've thrown it in here. To me, I couldn't stand this fragrance when it first launched. It was so sharp, so sharp, intensely sharp. but it has a lot of Helvetolide musk, saffron, ambroxan, and incense. And I had to look up Helvetolide musk, and it's written that it's a premium synthetic macrocyclic musk developed by DSM Firmenich, prized for its clean, modern, and slightly metallic hot iron or freshly ironed laundry scent. It acts as a highly diffusive volume booster in fine fragrances. So to me this was so super sharp to my nose. To me, saffron is very metallic. And so what have they done? They've added this Helvetolide musk, and then they've intensified the metallic qualities. Plus, you've got Ambroxan, which is super dry. Again, musky, powdery, woody, salty, all combined, ambery. And it's a very synthetic smelling fragrance. But just like Baccarat Rouge, I've really come drawn to it. I think musks pull me in, and that's kind of what I like about this. It's not the kind of fragrance I would necessarily like, but it's a very addicting smell. But if you don't like sharp metallic fragrances, maybe this one's not it for you. What do you guys think of this? Let me know, add a comment below. And I'm also including this one here by Mizensir, For Your Love. I'm not including Baccarat Rouge. We've spoken a lot about Baccarat Rouge. I'll pull it up every once in a while. But I'm talking about Mizensir's For Your Love, and it's raspberries, benzoin, patchouli, but also exaltone and cachalox. And this is a Firmenich perfumer, Alberto Morias, who created this. And for exaltone, we have musk, that's sweet, animalic, powdery, powerful musky odor, very similar to that of muscone, and in the opinion of many perfumers, superior in type and beauty, it says. And cachalox is synthetic form of ambergris, like ambroxan. So these perfume houses have multiple variations on ingredients or molecules that smell like ambroxan. So in this case, Alberto is using cachalox for the ambroxan qualities. So this does have somewhat reminders of the fragrance Baccarat Rouge, but it's so different because it has patchouli, it has raspberries fruitiness, it also has that warmth from the benzoin amber in the base, but you've got the exaltone and cachalox in here, which make it super sexy. This one's not metallic like the previous one, but it's so good. It's my favorite from this house, For Your Love. I absolutely love it. And it's long lasting, and also you can wear this in the heat. It smells fantastic in the heat. For Your Love. Let me know if you're a fan of that. Add a comment below. And finally, I'm going to end the video with two fragrances from the house of Obvious. First is Un Bois, and next is Un Musc. Let's talk about Un Bois first, because Un Bois is pretty straightforward. It's only utilizing ambroxan and creating a fragrance around all the ingredients like vetiver, there's gurgeon balsam, papyrus, black pepper, and bergamot. It's the ambroxan that makes this fragrance shine, and even though it's called Un Bois, they're using a lot of ambroxan. It's super musky, but for me, I find ambroxan to be woody in character. It's dry, it's salty, again, it's powdery, it's ambery. All of those are rolled into, like the qualities or the smell of the ambroxan. So you pick up all of those, but in this case, you've got a lot of woods in here as well, the papyrus and the vetiver, and then spices and a little citrus as well. But it's very, very sexy. To me, it acts like an amped up take on Molecule 1 with the addition of the ambroxan that's in here. So there's been some great deals on Un Bois. There's been some great deals on For Your Love. I'll tag these as best as I can. Look for them. They should be timestamp tagged via YouTube Shopping. And the last fragrance, the more complicated fragrance from the two obvious fragrances, but both of them are really great, is Un Musc. Very sexy creation. So it It's all musks except for the bergamot and galbanum that's in here. Plus they have a natural musk called Ambroxan seeds, which we spoke about early on with Glossier You. If you guys are interested in hearing more about Ambroxan, I have various videos on the channel. Go catch those videos. Ambroxan seeds are natural, so it's a vegetal kind of seed, very expensive apparently, and it's a musk. It's a musky, powdery, vegetal, fruity kind of an ingredient. Less on the fruit, more on the powdery, musky. But we've got that here in Un Musc with galbanum and bergamot, but this also has Helvetolide and Globalide as notes, as molecular notes. And this is what makes these fragrances, or this fragrance in general, a molecular fragrance, because it heavily relies on these two notes. So Helvetolide, it says, unlike heavy, powdery, or animalic traditional musks, it's celebrated for its airy, radiant, and transparent second skin quality. It uniquely bridges two scent profiles, ripe pear green apples plus warm white musk. Although I don't get much fruits here, and again, the Ambroxan seeds are also slightly fruity. They're supposed to smell a bit pear-like and also a bit pear liqueur. But this, to me, I don't think they brought out the fruitiness from those ingredients. Plus, you've got the Globalide, and it says it acts as a base note, belongs to macrocyclic musk family, meaning it has a large molecular ring structure that mirrors the compounds found in natural deer musk or Ambroxan seeds. Its olfactory profile is complex, blending living skin warmth. It delivers a cozy, sensual, and intimate warmth rather than a sharp, soapy laundry vibe. It's also creamy and powdery texture. It carries distinct waxy, powdery, and soft focus elements that add texture to a perfume. And then finally, it's subtle, metallic, woody facets. It features a unique hot iron on clean cotton or dry woods undertone, giving it a modern, clean, radiant edge. Either way, both of these are super awesome. You can get them really inexpensively. I highly recommend both of these. In fact, you can layer the two together as well, Un Bois, Un Musc, to intensify the fragrance's muskiness and very sexy. But those are the molecular fragrances I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Do you have them? Have you been wanting them? Have you been enjoying them, or have you been hating them? Let me know. Add a comment below. Other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching. Like I said, if you want to buy any of these, I have them timestamp tagged. The YouTube shopping button is on the left and the bottom. Somebody said I can't find it. It's there. Just look for it on the screen, left, bottom. There's a little button. You click that. It opens up the list of fragrances, and I've got them all tagged to the various retailers that these are tagged at. So you can buy them if you want them. But thank you so much for watching today's video on molecular fragrances. Let me know which of these are your favorites. As I said, add some comments below. Please interact with the video by adding a comment, liking the video, sharing it. And of course, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Click the bell icon so you'll be notified for future videos. And if you have any ideas of fragrances you want me to review, or, videos on specific themes you want me to cover, let me know that as well. Do add a comment so I can start producing content for you guys, since I've been gone for a long time. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.